Wow, I'm feeling very gay today.
Hey you! Take this material! Even if you give me brain cancer trying to watch it!
Morgan, what the hell? You're not that Slayer!
Sorry, I'm just really angry right now.
Ow! That hurt. And not because she threw it at me, but because it's a Mystic Umbreon video.
Wait, Mystic Umbreon? You know what, Slayer? I think this is the opportunity for a co-op.
Oh, you sure you don't wanna leave it in the comment section and call it a day?
Slayer, do not reference the CanCom in front of me, or I will cut you.
Whoa, calm down. Anyways, Giganite, let's get this gay party started.
Slayer, I will kill you for calling me by that.
Pokemon. They come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. Many Pokemon created over the past 20 years have been really iconic in the sense that everyone can remember them. Some of these Pokemon are amazing, whether it be their origins or even the fact that some Pokemon are very good in the competitive scene. However, there are just some Pokemon that simply shouldn't exist in the first place, whether it be because of their lack of significance or just the fact they have really done nothing for the Pokemon franchise.
Oh boy, we have another player who doesn't understand the point of an RPG. Great. Look, as an RPG, Pokemon is supposed to be based on world building. With this in mind, one can make the argument that every Pokemon contributes something to the franchise, as they expand on the amount of creatures you can obtain in the universe.
Also, keep in mind that Mystic said that origins will be a factor to whether or not they shouldn't exist. This will be important because it will bite them in the ass later on in the commentary.
Alright, first of all, I don't remember anything in the Bible about Jesus.
Starting off this list, we have Bruxish. It may be a surprise to you guys that we even remember this Pokemon. Now, we don't exactly dislike Bruxish, we just feel it shouldn't exist just due to the fact that Game Freak failed to execute it properly. If you guys remember during the trailers of when Sun and Moon were coming out, and Bruxish was revealed, during its trailer, it was revealed of Tapu Koko, the Chargebug evolution line, Drampa, Cutiefly, Togedemaru, and the Zygarde forms. To be honest, how is Bruxish supposed to stand out here amongst these Pokemon? The rest of these Pokemon are a lot more iconic than Bruxish is, and yeah, I get how it's supposedly based off of the Hawaiian state fish. I would think that Game Freak would try a little harder promoting it by placing it with other Pokemon rather than Tapu Koko or the Zygarde forms. Why make a Pokemon when you can't even hype it up properly?
So it shouldn't exist because the Pokemon it was hyped along with were more iconic than it. What? I mean, this isn't really a reason why it shouldn't exist. That just means it failed to meet the same standards as the other Pokemon.
I take Tapu Koko and Zygarde over Bruxish any day. Especially Zygarde.
Why? Is it because it's a dragon?
Susie, how dare you come out of nowhere? It's that thing that's been haunting me in the Cloud Palace.
Oh my god, a flying dick!
Lastly, it's ugly. They made it look so bad when it was placed with the others in its reveal trailer.
So it shouldn't exist because it's ugly. I guess beauty and hype is everything to existing. Hey Dynamo! You should stop existing!
Well, I can't say you're wrong.
I don't exactly hate it, I just feel the reveal time was bad, and it's left a bad taste in my mouth, and that thing, I imagine, just scares people. Overall, my argument is, why make a Pokemon when you can't even hype it up?
Okay, this is the second time you've said this, and you still haven't explained why it didn't live up to the hype. I mean, for hardcore players, they would understand, but to newer viewers, they will be confused as to what you mean. Elaboration!
Generation 3 is one of my favorite Pokemon generations of all time. It was the first generation that brought us huge innovation. We were given double battles, the concept of abilities, and changing weather in these games. One Pokemon designed in order to show off one of these new features was Castform, and my oh my is he useless. Don't get me wrong, he has a cool gimmick. Kinda. Just let me explain. So the whole thing behind Castform is that he changes to a different typing and form depending on what weather condition he's in. However, one downfall to this is that you're going to need to sacrifice one move slot to change the weather condition if you're not in that particular location at the moment. And if you want to be able to use any of the three forms for any situation you might encounter, then you're only going to be left with one move slot and a very shallow move pool to choose from. When Weather Ball is your only attacking move, you may run into problems trying to gain coverage, having to take one turn to switch forms.
Okay, let's read this text.
Hello audience, this is Mystic. Castform doesn't have a shallow move pool, it's just other normal types outclass Castform, and Weather Ball is its only great attack.
Okay, Mystic, why'd you leave that part in the script if you learned that Castform didn't have a shallow move pool? I mean, you could have, I don't know, told monkeys to re-record this line, or, you know, fix it in the script beforehand. I get that you wanted to correct your video, but when it gets to the point where you're contradicting your co-op partner, this just shows laziness on your part.
This also shows that you didn't fact check while you guys were scripting this. The saying what you just said implied that you weren't aware that it didn't have a shadow move pool at the time, when you could easily have done research and figure out whether or not it did or did not have a shadow move pool. Once again, adding to the laziness.
Also, to address your point about Castform's only great attack being Weather Ball, I'm going to assume that you mean base power, but if that's the case, Blizzard, 110 power, Fire Blast, 110 power, Solar Beam, 120 power, Hurricane, 110 power, compared to Weather Ball, which is base 50 power.
What? I also want to mention the fact that Castform's stats are super subpar at base 70 all around, which can make battles pretty difficult to win. If Game Freak really wanted to show off the new features of the weather mechanics, I feel as though the abilities Drought and Drizzle on Groudon and Kyogre were good enough. All in all, Castform is a Pokemon with a good gimmick that was just executed poorly.
Okay, I have to ask. What's the point of bringing up his stats if you had an explanation right in front of you? I mean, you had an actual point that Groudon and Kyogre represented the weather better than Castform, thus making it redundant in your eyes. But bringing up his stats isn't really a factor on whether or not it should exist or not. Like as we said before, Pokemon is based on world building. So of course there are Pokemon that are weaker than others.
Let me just ask. Did we really need Azurill? No, seriously, like, what's the point? I get it, yeah, baby Pokemon, it's supposed to be cute. Well, Azurill, it does nothing. Its egg moves are awful, its stats are awful, and it learns Splash as one of its level up moves.
Wait, it shouldn't exist because it can learn Splash? Do not insult the almighty power of the Splash! It can create earthquakes just by being used by our Lord and Savior, Autumn-chan!
Calm down, Slayer. We all know that our Lord and Savior is clearly Doodletones.
Yeah, okay, it gets Water Gun, but it's normal type. And what are you supposed to be hitting with those base 20 attack stats?
What kind of stats you're expecting a baby Pokemon to have? Last time I checked, most baby Pokemon have, if you put it, stats. So why go into Azurill's case when it's not even alone in this situation?
Granted, there are baby Pokemon with stats that are not that bad, such as Munchlax, Hyperion, and Mantike, but that doesn't mean that all baby Pokemon are going to have these kind of stats.
Hey Slayer, you mind if I send out a baby Pokemon against Mega Rayquaza?
Sure! Mega Rayquaza's gonna get wrecked!
Pull out your heels, take a sniff.
Over the years of the Pokemon series, we've seen a great number of cool bird Pokemon, each one with a different design or concept. Some are simply ineffective like Pidgeot, others are intricate like Unfezant, and some have a gimmick around them like Chatot. Chatot was introduced solely for the purpose of showing off the new DS feature, the microphone. The point of Chatot being in the game was for it to be able to mimic its trainer. Once Chatot has a move chatter, you can then record over the move so that when the move is used, the cry of Chatot is what you put into the microphone. The louder the sound of the recording, the easier it is for Chatot to confuse the opponent. However, this was not very well thought out of Game Freak's part, as this feature is now disabled in the games. The developers of the games didn't take the idea of people using profanity into account when designing this move. Chatter no longer now gives you the ability to record outside a battle and will only confuse the target on contact. Chatot's main gimmick is gone, so that leaves us with the question, why is he still in the games? Chatot without Chowder's functionality is just another single stage forgotten Pokemon with extremely subpar stats and an average move pool.
You do realize that in the Pokemon universe, Chatot can still mimic its trainer, right? Also no, Chatot was not made specifically for the use of the DS microphone. That was just a feature added on it to give it a gimmick. If anything, the removal of Chatot being used for recording is more in the fault of Game Freak rather than Chatot itself.
Bananas and cream, blueberries and cream, peanuts and cream, berries and cream.
So it's Gen 4. Awesome generation. Diamond and Pearl are looking to be fantastic games. You're hyped up for the new Pokemon being revealed. Then you see this thing. Dude. A Pokemon where you combine the Regis? Count me in, is what my initial thought was. Then I discovered its ability. What is this ability? You hype up Regigigas to be this powerhouse monster with amazing Pokedex entries, great stats, and then you give it this ability to the point where it's completely useless. I just hated the fact that they hyped up what was supposed to be a great Pokemon, and then turn it into a pile of garbage. The Regis on their own are better than this thing. Don't create a Pokemon, hype it up, and then turn it terrible. Don't create it in the first place if it's going to be terrible.
So it shouldn't exist because it was hyped up, but became terrible because of its bad ability. Even though you said that in the introduction, Pokemon have some point if it has an origin.
Some of these Pokemon are amazing, whether it be their origins or even the fact that some Pokemon are very good in the competitive scene. However, there are just some Pokemon that simply shouldn't exist in the first place, whether it be because of their lack of significance or just the fact they have really done nothing for the Pokemon franchise.
It stated in its Platinum Pokedex entry that it created the Regi Trio out of Clay, Ice, and Magma. So with this in mind, it does serve a purpose lore-wise, and the only reason why you put it on here is because it didn't live up to the hype because of its bad ability, as I said with Bruxish. Just because it failed to live up to the hype, that doesn't mean it shouldn't exist.
Also, as fellow mirror Aaron Tempest pointed out in his first commentary, there is a way to survive the first few turns of slow start. Give it leftovers to hold on to, and use double team and substitutes to survive the 5 turns. Or give it moves like Thunder Wave, Toxic, or Confuse Ray to stall the other Pokemon. Yes, it's still a problem with Regigigas, I'll admit, but there are still ways around it.
And since he's just telling us to watch part 2 on Monkeys' channel, I think we'll just skip that video.
Do I even need to talk about why this Pokemon is bad? I'm not even going to mention its name. I'm just going to say Alomomola makes this thing look like a joke. Now, if this thing evolved into Alomomola, then it wouldn't be here because it would actually evolve into something useful and significant. Bottom line, it's trash. Its origin is interesting, but Alomomola has characteristics of Luvdisc already. And not to mention its stats are god-awful. Honestly, just get out of here. I know at the beginning of the video we said we didn't necessarily hate these Pokemon, but I hate this thing. Get off the screen, please.
Okay, throughout this segment, you basically give no reason as to why it shouldn't exist. You only bring up its stats, which as said before, it isn't exactly for a reason to not exist because, guess what? Not every Pokemon is made for competitive play. During the other segments, you at least try to give a reason as to why it shouldn't exist outside of just bad stats, and now you're going to laser out by saying it shouldn't exist because of its bad stats alone. Nice work.
The number one Pokemon that shouldn't exist is none other than Unknown. Unknown is probably the most useless Pokemon ever created to date. For one, its only move is Hidden Power, a move whose power can only be manipulated through breeding, which isn't possible for Unknown. And I get it, Pokemon isn't all about battling. Unknown was a Pokemon designed for his gimmick, but unfortunately, his gimmick is just super underwhelming to us. I get that Unknown is supposed to be the alphabet, but outside the Gen 2 games, these Pokemon play little to no significance with any other legendary Pokemon.
Little to no significance. What? Are we just gonna completely ignore the event that happened with Arceus and Heart Gold and Soul Silver? Even if it is an event, it still counts as something that Unknown does relating to a legendary Pokemon.
Wait, Slayer, don't you see? It doesn't exist because Monkeys here think so.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Monkey thinks it, so it must be true. Screw Rabbit Luigi, Monkeys is our true god of the countdowns.
What the fuck did you just say? I'll have you know that Rabbit Luigi cannot be replaced under any circumstance. He is the true god of everything and countdowns, and if you do not think so, you'll be punished in his name of Britishness. You understand me, boys?
Okay, Cuspy, we get it. Just calm down.
And that's basically it in the video. So let's move on to final thoughts. Crimson, you'll lead the way. I'm just gonna sit in the corner and cut myself.
Okay then. Look, I'll be honest, this collab wasn't very good at all. Mystic, I can at least say we're easily the better of the two. With that being said, however, one thing that bothers me is how you can do a good job in some segments, such as the Why Not and Fiona segments, which are the ones we skipped over, but the others you either give bad reasons or half-ass it like you did in the Love This segment. My advice is to keep the consistency going for all your segments. If you were to do that, it would have at least been decent, but then there's Monkeys. So Monkeys, the biggest problem you had was your claims having nothing to back them up. It just sounds like you just saying it's true because you want it to be true. Hell, you even flat out ignore examples in the case your number one segment. My advice to you is to present your points with some form of evidence or proof to back up your reasons. Remember, no one likes someone that wants to sound smart, yet has no idea what the hell they're talking about. Alright Slayer, if you haven't bled out yet, it's your turn.
If I could sum up this list, it would be:
this Pokemon doesn't have good stats, / it was hyped up but failed to meet the hype, therefore it shouldn't exist.
At least for the most part. Like Crimson said, there were at least some segments where you at least attempted to provide good reasons as to why you believe the Pokemon shouldn't exist. But that was only a small fraction of the list. The rest was just making baseless claims, pulling the stats card, and overall, this was an incredibly flawed list. I do believe that PokeTubers can be very entertaining if given the right information for their list, but honestly, you have a long way to go in order to actually become a great PokeTuber. I do believe that you can be good, just learn to do your research. Jeez. Well, that was the thing. Anyway, I'm gonna go do whatever. I really don't know at this point.
Alright, I'm just gonna...
What are you gonna do, Giga Knight? Are you gonna leave it in the comments?
No. I'm just gonna execute a furry.
I'm not a furry, you
You fucking died, okay? Show's over, he's fucking dead, okay? Go home.